Have you ever entered a photography competition or challenge and wondered what on earth does it take to do well in this? If you have, you're not alone, because we all think like that from time to time. And in this video, I'm going to list a number of things that you could consider that might enable you or help you to do better in these photography challenges and competitions. I have a number of my own ideas that I've sort of formulated over the years that we've been doing our challenges on Instagram, and I've also gone online and read as many websites and watched as many videos as I can to try to find out what all the other judges, what all the other competitions are expecting, and to see if there's any common themes. And what I've done, I've come up with a list of things that you could consider for when you're taking and posting your image to a competition or a challenge. In addition to the things that I already know and what I've found online, I'm going to share with you the criteria our judges use when they judge your image and go through each and every section to give you a good idea of what the judges are expecting to see or what they judge your image on our photo challenges. And I think what you'll find is the criteria that we use as challenges for our Instagram challenge judging is very much similar to what most judges and most competitions do. And hopefully, once you've watched all this video right to the end, you'll get a good understanding of what to expect. And I'm hoping that it's going to help you improve your submissions to competitions in general and our challenges too. Potentially the most important thing that you need to consider when you're entering a photo competition is to be organised. Know the rules and know the dates that you need to post your image by. You won't be surprised to know that in the competitions or the challenges that we run, we always or nearly always get asked by the participants what are the start and end dates. And that's crucial because some challenges, some competitions provide a limited time for when you can take and post your image, as we do. On our challenges, we give you 3 full weekends to take your picture. And we're all super busy these days. We've all got lives beyond photography, and our weekends are quite often filled up. So you really, really need to know when the end date of the challenge is so that you can plan when you're going to have time to take your image. That's crucial. If you don't know that, then you're going to struggle anyway. The other thing about knowing the rules is understanding exactly what the competition is asking you to produce. As an example, in our Instagram challenges, we split our challenges into 3 different rounds. The first round is often taking a picture of a thing. The second round is often taking a picture using a specific style or technique in photography. And the third round is usually open. So we take the first round as example. We could ask you to take a picture that includes something that's red. So what you could do is take a picture of a phone box and just put a little bit of a corner of the red phone box in the corner of your image. And technically, you are actually within the rules of the competition. However, that is a bit outside of the spirit of the challenge or the competition because we've asked you for something red. So what you should be thinking about doing is making the red thing that you're going to put in your image as the focal point, potentially the main subject. It doesn't have to be. But if you want to do well in the competition, you need to make sure you've put something red in your image and it's clear and obvious. The next thing is if we have a challenge that's asking you for a style or a technique, let's say, for instance, intentional camera movement, you need to really know what that intentional camera movement is. How are you going to take your shot and how to do that shot? So what you might want to do is obviously do your research, watch YouTube videos, or even look on previous competitions where people have posted intentional camera movement photos and obviously have a look at the winners or the ones that have done well. And what you could do is try to emulate those photos and try to do something similar. Because if they've won or if they've done well, then if you take a similar shot, there's a good chance you will do well. And if you're not sure, if you're really not sure what the criteria is, what you're being asked to do, then by all means ask the competition host, ask them what they're expecting, and they will tell you. Even if they don't tell you what sort of picture to take, they will give you an idea of what they're looking for. The other important thing about understanding the rules is knowing what the processing limits are, understanding how much you can edit your photo. as an example, in our challenges, we don't allow you to add anything. So once you've clicked the button and taken the photo, we expect to see that photo, only that photo. We allow you to use the sliders. You can change the contrast, the highlights, the shadows, the whites, the blacks, the white balance, all those sorts of sliders. But we don't want you to add anything to the image. And in particular, as an example, we don't want you to provide a composite image, because once you start adding things to the image, you might as well just create an AI image, because it wasn't in the original shot. So it's really important for you to understand what the processing limits are of the competition that you are entering, so that you don't fall foul of any processing limits. As I've said in previous videos of mine, it's your picture and you need to be happy and satisfied with it. Don't rely on what other people say on Instagram. Don't rely on the number of likes and comments you get for your image. Post the image that you like, post the image that you prefer, not what other people think. If you go with other people's instincts, you'll go with what they think, and that might not be what the judges like. So make sure that you're posting the picture for yourself and it's a picture that you like, and don't rely on social media to give you that the lift to post your picture. If you're entering an image or a challenge picture on Instagram, my advice would be to use the space available to you. Instagram provide a 4 or 5x4 image, and you need to use that space completely as much as you can, because when you look at a photo, if it's bigger than, if it's a little tiny photo like that, it's really hard to see. So if you can get as much of the space on your image on the screen, it's going to be much better for the judges to be able to look at your image and admire it. When I've judged images, what I do, I look at a big picture on my big screen. I don't rely on my little screen on my phone. I like to see a big image, and I always find those images look so much better when they're blown up. They look so much more interesting. So my advice to you, if you're entering an Instagram competition, try to use as much of the space as you possibly can on the screen. Really importantly, don't be afraid to try something different. Now, what you need to do is to get your viewer to look at your image and think, how did they take that? So if you can get that reaction from the viewer, from the judge that's judging your image, that's going to make a massive difference. That's going to help you. Because if your judge doesn't know how you took that photo, they're going to be pondering and wondering, how did they do that? And it will prick their interest. The way to do that, of course, is to find an alternative angle, try something new, bit low, bit high, try it from a completely different shot that you'd normally do. Maybe just go out of your comfort zone to try something completely different. If you think it's wacky and wild, if you can show a picture that a judge has not seen before or isn't expecting, that will really get them interested. And that's what you want to do. A really obvious piece of advice, and something not just for photography, but for everything we do, don't give up. Because what you find is you'll take a few shots and you think, oh, that's not good enough, I can't do it. But I recommend keep trying. You might take 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 shots, and it might not be until the 20th shot or the 50th shot that you take is the one that you really like. So I would definitely recommend, don't give up. Use as much time as you can to try to get that shot, that competition winning shot. Don't give up is the really important thing. Another thing that I often see in pictures that I judge is distracting elements, things that would be in the frame if it's a normal image, but they're just in the wrong place or they shouldn't be there. So you want to try to limit those distracting elements. I'm thinking you might have a pylon in the background or a lamppost in the foreground or whatever it is that's going to get in the way of your image. And you could either try to move your position to take a different or a better shot, or you could remove it in your post-processing suite. Obviously, that's not adding things, that's taking stuff away, which isn't often allowed. So I would really try to take out anything distracting, anything that's going to catch your eye line, anything that's going to catch the judge's eye line, that's going to tell them, oh, this isn't composed very well, it's not framed very well. Take them out. Another really important thing about any photograph is trying to tell a story. So I know that's difficult, it's not easy. How do you tell a story? But here's an example. If you post a picture, a really great picture of a cat just sitting on a chair, I would say that's not really telling a story. That's just a cat sitting on a chair. But if you post a picture of a cup of tea and a bowl of sugar and a spoon, now that's telling a story, because you as the viewer are trying to imagine what's going to happen in, or has happened or will happen in that image. You'll be thinking that cup of tea, someone will come along and put that spoon in that cup of tea and stir it. You want your viewer to imagine what is happening in that image, and that's you telling a story. So it's really important that you consider these things when you're taking your photo. What's the story? What is happening? What is going to happen? What did happen in this image? So that your viewer is left intrigued and they're left interested in your image. There are a few of the things that I found online, and also my own ideas about what you can consider for when you're entering a photographic competition. Now what I'll do is I'll run through the judging criteria that we use as an Instagram challenge community to judge your photos. It might be interesting. There might be a few things that come out of that you'll be interested to know exactly what we do, what we're looking for, because I think that's helpful. The first thing is, does your image fit the theme of the challenge? Is there something red in it? Is it obvious that there's something red in it? Is the red the main subject, or is it a focal point of your image, or is it a peripheral element in the background? So we'll look at those things and judge your image based on the criteria set. That's vitally important, because you'll lose marks instantly. If your picture doesn't adhere to the theme, then it almost won't get looked at. So it needs to fulfill the criteria of the competition. That's crucial. Composition. Are there lots of items that are well placed within the image? Are there distracting elements? Where's the light coming from? Is the light directing the viewer into the image? One thing that I always imagine is that we look at photos from left to right. So when we look at an image, we look at it from left to right. We immediately, our eye falls on the brightest part of the image, and then we go around the image, hopefully, and look at the rest of the shot. So you need to place your items, your subject, in the right place on a third, as an example, so that when you look at your image, you can go to the brightest part, and you want the viewer to go around your image and look at all the various aspects of it. So if you've got lots of interesting things in your image and no distracting elements and no elements that are going to take your eye off the page, that's what you're trying to do. So that composition is vital when it comes to taking your and posting your shot. Creativity. Is the subject of the picture shown in a unique way? Are you, as a photographer, showing creativity, something unusual? And how have you used the light? Where is the light coming in, as I said before? How is the light interacting with the subject? That's the creativity of it. That's what we're looking for. Technical quality. Is the image in focus? Is the light balanced? What's the quality of the image via contrast, colour, noise, etc.? What's the technical quality? Look at your image and think, is it sharp? Is it in focus? Is it balanced? Is there too much noise, too little noise? Does the colours look right? Are they not oversaturated? Because quite often we oversaturate our images, especially if we use the sliders too much. You can add contrast, which saturates your image. You can have saturation that saturates your image. You can add lights and shadows, which sometimes saturate your image. So that's a really important thing to consider. So look at the quality of your image. Is it sharp? Is it in focus? Is the lighting balanced? And is the quality of your image right? And finally, the overall impression. Does the image grab the viewer's attention? Does it have that wow factor that we're looking for? Does it tell a story? So all those things you've got to consider. And you'll know as soon as you've taken your photo, all those things. Does it tell a story? Does it have that wow factor? You'll know straight away. These are a few of the things that I've come up with and found, and I hope they're really useful to you. Thank you very much for watching indeed. I hope this has helped and given you a bit of information that you may or may not have known beforehand, and provided you with a bit of inspiration or a bit of help for when you're posting your image to a competition or a challenge. If you have found the video interesting and useful, well, why not give it a like? That would be really nice. And if you like this kind of photography content that I'm creating, then why not join along and subscribe to the channel? That would be amazing if you did, and I thank you very much. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.